revitalized to meet the needs of the sport. So we started with cricket, we can look at baseball, we can look at many others. Right now, this is not a product. I want to be very clear. So we belong, or at least I belong to a group that does co-innovation with customers. Today, if you heard the keynote, you heard them talk about it. Yesterday, you heard Bern talk about it. So our group at SAP, that's the group I represent, Customer Innovation and Strategic Projects is what we call ourselves. We work with customers, we work with them very closely, we get their input and we understand what is it that we need to develop, and we develop solutions according to that. Which is why I mentioned the input and the collaboration we received from some of the experts in the field to build just the prototype, if you will, or the proof of concept of how this injury risk monitor can work. And it was very well received, as you know, from the press. You know that Sean Tate was there with us in Melbourne. So on the cricket side, it had good response. So we hope to, work with the right people in the cricket world in the future to bring that forward. Similarly, we would be very happy to explore similar possibilities in other sports. I'll pause here and see if there is another question or if I need to elaborate on this area, because as I said, we are looking at every aspect of how we live, really, because if you notice some of the examples we today talked about were about cancer research and about personalized medicine. And when we talk about sports, this also means a lot of money for a lot of sports teams, and depending on the organization that is running that sport, they suffer a lot of losses too. So there is a financial and business side to it, there is a social side to it, and there's certainly a healthcare side to it. So this is like at the crossroads of all those things, and we believe, and we are very confident that with our technology, especially since it's all based on SAP HANA, that we can solve many of these problems, which is what examples you saw. So why should we not go forward and look into these areas? Why should we only restrict ourselves to only helping companies that have traditional supply chain problems, or they're trying to solve financial and analysis problems? We can help in other places too. And in many ways we are helping them, because in many countries these sports are professional sports, which means people actually earn their livelihood through them, which means it's run like a business. And because these are businesses, we also want to help these businesses by helping them mitigate the cost that they have if players tend to keep getting injured. Collaborating with the right sporting body and develop a good application. It doesn't matter to us who uses it. It is not, we are not, it is there for, because something you may or may not know perhaps, SAP works very closely with a lot of universities around the world, and we have a whole different approach to higher education and so forth as well. So we are, it's open to anybody who could derive advantage from it, or if they wish to collaborate with us for that matter. We sell our software and we work with all kinds of entities around the world. We work with a lot of not-for-profit organizations too. So that is not, because a university has less money than a pro sports team is not a crippling factor. Let me assure you of that. A healthy atmosphere, I think. So if other companies step up and want to compete, they want to build competing applications, we have no issue with that really. We just know that we will be better. And in terms of the second question, well, at the end of the day, we are a business and we need to make money. So I'm sure we expect there will be some, financial rewards as well. It's not purely out of charity that we want to get into this, because as you know, healthcare, sports medicine, these are big businesses as well. I mean, or I should say there are many businesses invested in these areas as well. So we think it's a win-win-win for everybody. Our society wins because we have better sports. We win because we, obviously continue to, bring out new technology and, do well on the revenue side. And I think, even the players ultimately win because we help them prevent injury and so forth. I mean, I'll go back again to the cricket example. Sean Tate, who was with us in Melbourne, the fast bowler, he actually said that he wished, and I think I read the quote somewhere, he's actually said he wished this technology existed earlier so people like him could have been helped in a more timely fashion. So again, it's not fully in production type of application. I want to clarify. When he said that, I think he was referring to the possibility of such technology helping. So
intervention solution to the fast bowler of the cricket. Did you see the difference between before he was actually getting the training based on the solution, or and before and after? Did you get any response from the fast bowlers?
So we have not yet gotten to a stage where we have tested the application in the field, so we don't have that data. What we do know is that based on the simulations we've done, that there is promise. But we don't have that. No field trials have been done yet.
아직 제품이 아니기 때문에 지금.
Obviously, the most popular ones in the world where we can make the biggest difference. So, in addition to cricket, we would, if we had to and I'm just speaking off the top of my head. This is not a policy statement. I'm not picking one sport over another. I want to be very clear. But one would obviously look at the ones where we see the most momentum, if you will. So it could be baseball, it could be American football, it could be soccer, definitely, which is a global sport. It could be tennis. It could go on and on. I mean, we have not made any determinations yet, and I don't think we want to limit ourselves anywhere. But anyway, that's not a policy statement from SAP. I want to be careful about that.
Even US.
Thank you.
Even UFC or boxing, they make injury.
Yes, you're right. Maybe we should take that as an input. Yes, because if you remember, I used to be a big fan of Muhammad Ali. That was many years ago.
Yeah.
But then, he took so many blows to his head that his speech and life got really badly affected. I mean, he developed, I think, a very bad case of, I don't know what the condition is called.
He has Parkinson's.
Yeah, Parkinson's. But I don't know if that was related to his injuries, or I think the jury is out on that. We don't know that. But you're right, boxing does get a lot of... But some of those things are not so much... If it's an accident that happens, or if it is a physical thing, it's maybe slightly different. So you can't always prevent that, I mean, other than taking protective measures. But it's interesting concept, that you have, because fitness in any sport is important. And we can look at that, of course, as well. Is that your favorite sport?
Yeah.
Boxing?
Boxing.
Yeah.
자, 질문 하나나 두 개 정도만 더
We still
받으시죠.
have to go through the work of collaborating with someone, building it. So let's make sure we get that clear, right? And in terms of APJ, we are not. When we talk about anything we produce, any product, it is not for a specific region or another. We are a global company. We serve the entire world's population. And yes, we may have it available in one region or another sooner rather than later. That is purely a business rollout strategy. But the product is always something that can be used everywhere with suitable modifications. So depending on what is needed. Because sometimes, especially in financial systems, you have to look at currencies, and that's why I said that. But in something like this, you probably would be only looking at language, perhaps, if that is a concern. But the point is, so to have no concerns that as we make progress, because we are very excited about looking at this, we will be, the APJ in Korea is not going to be left behind. In fact, we would love to talk to, the right teams and the right experts in all parts of the world. We're working on something that would give us that kind of information. It is fairly confidential, so I probably wouldn't share the specifics anyway. But I will just tell you that it is significant if you're looking at in terms of dollars or euros or whichever currency, because these sports generate a lot of revenue. And some of the biggest sports, which is no secret, are baseball and soccer, and cricket is right up there, especially now that we have these other tournaments like the IPL, which is going on right now in India. And then you have the Big Bash in Australia, and so on and so forth. So